What's up guys, Volt here bringing you a brand new Fast and Furious car remake. In today's remake, I'm bringing you the 2003 Saleen S281-E Mustang from Too Fast, Too Furious. Now you're probably thinking, where was this car in the movie? This was a background slash kind of, I guess, villain-ish car. This was one of the cars that was racing Brian and Roman on the, I believe, the highway, and actually got caught in between two semi-trucks and got destroyed. Now this car is relatively, I would say, stock for the most part, and the color is really unique as well, so I had to come up with a custom crew color for it, so I think it turned out pretty decent for the build, and the color actually looks really great out in the sunlight. In the dark, you can definitely tell it is red, but out in the sunlight, it kind of changes color, which is really cool. As you can see, I have a bunch of people in here. I don't know what's going on, honestly. This place is a lot more alive than I would think, and it's actually nice to see a lot of people in here. So this car was a requested car, and I will definitely put that on screen for you guys right now. So thank you very much for requesting this car, guys. It's been requested for a while. I've had it built. I just now getting around to actually making a video, and you'll be seeing a lot more videos just like this one. Yeah, let's just get on with the build. So we're gonna start off with the base price. So we're gonna go to the internet, we're gonna go to the travel and transport website, we're gonna go down to the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website, and you want to go down and you want to find yourself the Vapid Dominator ASP, part of the Los Santos Tuners update. Now, if you have the trade price like I do, right here it is. But if you do not have the trade price for the Vapid Dominator ASP, it's going to be costing you $1,775,000. So right there's the price right there for the normal price. But if you do have the trade price by doing, I think it's races and things in the Santos Car Meet, and actually raising your reputation as well, I think that also counts. You're going to be paying $1,331,250. It's not too bad. It's a little pricey, but I mean, if you want to recreate a decent build, and I believe this is the only Saleen Mustang actually in all the movies, but I could be wrong. There's probably one in the background somewhere that is like very barely noticeable at all. But this one is a little bit more noticeable because it had like a big scene where it got trapped, and it was like racing down the road. It got trapped between two semi-trucks and it got ran over by a semi-truck, which is really cool. And it just added a lot more to the actual movie, I think. Anyways, once you have your car and you have your color, meet us at the Los Santos Car Meet location. As you can see here, everyone else is all gathered around. Got a whole bunch of different cars. I'm actually really happy and glad to see these. Look at all of them. It's crazy. They're all the same, but well, the other two right here weren't. Yeah, let's just get right into this. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's go and customize the beauty. As we pull in, the Vapid Dominator ASP is in the muscle category. Pretty much self-explanatory. Should be, you know, a Saleen Mustang. And it's kind of crazy how Rockstar gets their cars so close to the actual real-life thing. It's really crazy, and I don't really see anything different or any difference in it. It's very subtle, I would say. As I go over all my builds, I go over the overall look, the visual appearance, the basic design, and the car and how it's portrayed in the movie, game, or anywhere else in general itself. Anything I don't go over is completely up to you. I just put a few staples in my build if you want to recreate my build, or if you want to take some things away from my build, just follow along with the video, add it to your car, and enjoy the car once it's done. So, without further ado, let's get into the build. So we're going to go to bumpers. You want to go to the front bumpers. You want to go with the primary aggressor bumper. Now, I say this is the best option because it literally looks like the one from the movie, and I just don't really see a point in wasting any more time on this. So we're just going to move on to the next part. So after that, we move on to the rear bumpers. You want to go to the primary GT MK2 bumper. Now, I think this fits the best for the build. It's kind of got like the indents on the back. It's got the Dominator logo on the back, as well as the kind of like vents and the little bit of a diffuser there. I think it looks really good, and again, we barely see the back end of the Mustang in the movie, so I guess you can kind of go with whatever you want on it. But I would just say, just go with the primary GT MK2 bumper. From there, move on to the engine. Now, we never really saw what was underneath the hood, so you guys can do whatever you want, make it however you wish. Spend as little or as much money as you want on it. And again, most people look at the exterior, they don't look at the interior and little details of the car. So, you know, most people probably won't look underneath the hood or really care. But for me, I just kept everything stock, so I'm going to go through this. There's going to be pictures or anything, so I apologize about that. But just to show you guys that I kept it all stock, here you go. So engine block, stock. Rail covers, also stock. Fittings, none, or stock. Strut brace is going to be the basic strut brace, or stock. And the intercoolers is going to be none, or stock. From there, we move on to the exhaust. Now I went with the twin chrome bore exhaust. I think these fit the best, and these kind of look the best. Again, we don't really see the back end of the car all that much. I feel like it had this style of exhaust But again, since we didn't see it, there's not too much information floating around online about the car and everything. I would just probably stick with something close to this. And I would say most Saleen Mustangs, or most Mustangs in general, have an exhaust kind of like this. So I would just kind of go with something similar to the quad tipped like design here, but that's completely up to you. From there, move on to the fenders. You just want to keep the stock front fender and the fenders on the side as well. Going to be stock. So both of them are going to be stock. Don't change any of them. Don't add any, like, you know, bolt-ons or carbon arches or color painted arches or anything. It didn't have anything fancy. Again, like, for the most part, it was, I would say, a basically stock Saleen Mustang with a few modifications here and there. From there, move on to the hood. You want to go to hood catches. I didn't see any in the movie, and I didn't see any on any pictures or anything I saw, so I would just keep that none. From there, move on to the hood itself. I just kept that stock. Again, pretty much most of this car is going to be stock, so I don't see a point in changing it. And it looks pretty much like the hood from the movie. From there, move on to the interior. Now, for this, I'm going to go over each area that I did. So, for the dash, I kept it stock. Again, pretty much a stock interior for the most part, so I just kept it stock. For the dials, I went with the pod-mounted Tacho gauge. Now, the main reason I went for this is because he has two gauges like right in the center console, right like below the rearview mirror, and I want to kind of represent that or kind of replicate that as best I could. So I thought that the pod-mounted Tacho gauge actually worked really good, so that's what I put there. But you can also just go with none if you really wanted to. From there, move on to the doors. I went with the stock doors. Again, stock design. Pretty much going to keep the stock doors. After that, move on to the seats. I went with the stock seats. Again, I didn't see a point in changing them because the car was pretty much stock. After that, move on to the steering wheels. I went with the stock wheel. I mean, I didn't see a point in changing it. You're more than welcome to. Again, we don't really see too much of the interior all like in the movie. A little bit of a shot through the back window, but that's about it. From there, we move on to the roll cage. I went with the street half cage. Now, you do have to make sure you put this in because in the movie, it did have a roll cage in it, and it was pretty much a street half cage, I would say, because it had like the one bar going down the center, especially when you look through the one scene where he's looking through the back of the window, and he's looking through the two of them going through in between the Mack trucks, or the semi-trucks, I guess. It looks exactly like the roll cage that was in the movie, so that's why I put that in there. After that, move on to the lights. You want to go to headlights, and you just want to keep them stock. I think it looks really close for like the time of the car when it was built around. Like, they didn't have like the yellowish kind of lights to them. It was a bit more of a newer car, so they had a little bit more of a brighter white-ish color lights to them. So I would just keep stock lights personally. After that, move on to the neon kits. Neon layout's going to be none because it didn't have any neon that I noticed. It was pretty much the middle of the day when they were doing the race. After that, move on to the livery. You just want to put none on there. Didn't have no special livery on it, so I wouldn't change or add anything on that. From there, move on to the louvers. You just want to put no louvers. You want to be able to see through that back window to get that, kind of vibe from the movie. So, you can just see right straight through it. So you don't want to add any louvers to it. That just kind of ruins it. After that, we move on to the mirrors. You just want to keep the stock mirrors. They kind of had like a black. I don't know if they were carbon exactly, but I know they were kind of like a dark, like a blackish color to them. And I think the stock mirrors fit the best. You could possibly go with a secondary color, but I recommend not to because the pearlescent goes right over top it and just kind of ruins it. If you go with the stock mirrors, there's no pearlescent on it, so it doesn't like overlap it. It doesn't ruin the design of it. From there, move on to the mud guards. I didn't see any mud guards on the car, so I wouldn't add them personally. After that, move on to the plate. Now, we never really saw the back end of the car. At least I didn't. I didn't see any plate on the car, and I don't really know what was on the car, what's on this plate. But I do know that they were down in Florida, and the best plate I could go for a Florida design is a blue on white 2, and I just put my classic Volt plate on. You might see this car a little bit later on. It will probably have a 2F plate on it, a custom plate that I'm going to make for it. But right now, it's just going to have my Volt plate on. Same reframe for last, we move on to the roof. You want to just keep that roof nice and stock. Didn't have like any kind of colored or carbon roof. Definitely not a sticker bomb. So yeah, just keep that stock. From there, move on to the skirts. I went with the primary GT skirts. It kind of matches the whole design that I have for the body. Like, the body kit kind of goes all together, I would say. And the primary GT skirts go all the way down at an angle. They kind of angle out a little bit, add a little bit more design to the sides, and I just think they look really close to the ones actually in the movie. From there, we move on to the spoilers. You want to go with the primary drag spoiler. Now, this is, I would say, about as close as you could get for the actual spoiler from the movie, and it's relatively close. Like, I mean, it's almost spot on. It's exactly the same design and look to it, and it's not like a carbon color or a black color. It's actually the color of the car. It just looks really great. And this is the one I choose, is the primary drag spoiler. From there, we move on to the sun strips. I wanted the black sun strip. Now, the main reason I went for this is because he has like a Saleen sun strip, like across the top it says Saleen. You definitely don't want to go with none, so either go with like a black one. I wouldn't go with a primary because it was a black sun strip and white lettering on it. So my best option, again, just like the mirrors, is a black sun strip. Because if you go with the secondary, it's gonna just get that nice pearlescent on there, and you don't want that on there. You want it to be nice and black. After that, move on to the suspension. I went with the lowered suspension. Now, you could probably go with none personally if you really wanted to. I don't really know if it was lowered at all. I felt like it was from the ride height and everything I saw. So, I mean, I would go anywhere from a stock suspension to a lowered suspension. After that, move on to the trunk. You just want to keep that stock. Definitely don't change it to the secondary color. That would just ruin it. From there, move on to the turbo. I added a turbo because, I mean, in the movie, it actually had a supercharger. Unfortunately, we cannot add superchargers to muscle cars in the game as of yet, but I think it'd be kind of cool if we had an option to either choose a turbo or a supercharger. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Would you like to have a turbo or supercharger, or even have the option in the game? From there, move on to the wheels. You want to go to wheel type, and you just want to go to any one because the wheels are going to be stock. The stock chrome rims actually are really great, and the funny thing is, the stock chrome rims actually on the real life car are the stock Saleen rims, and these are the stock rims in the game for the Dominator ASP, so it kind of fits. And they actually look relatively similar to the ones that are stock on the real life car. So, I mean, but yeah, I definitely just go with stock. Keep them chrome, keep them looking nice. Unfortunately, you can't put any design on it, but that's okay. So, we're going to go to wheel color. Again, gonna be stock, can't change it. And they're also chrome, so you definitely can't change it. You want to go to tires. You want to go to tire design because you can't change that. So, that's good because there was no tire lettering or anything on it. So, don't worry about that. So, that's good. From there, move on to the tire enhancements. You can add bulletproof tires on if you wish. More realistic if you don't. I didn't add any bulletproof tires. I just always try to keep it as realistic as possible. Even if I get shot at and my tires get blown, I just still stick with standard tires. Unless it's a drift car, then I'll add low grip. Most of the time, I will definitely not add bulletproof. But your choice. After that, tire smoke is just going to be white tire smoke. You don't want to change that, and most of the time, I will say not to change it at all. Last before the respray is windows, and you just want to put none, or keep it stock, because it didn't have any tint, and you want that nice, clean, crystal clear glass all the way around. Alright, and I will see you guys in 2 seconds with a rolled steel primer color. Alright, and we're back. As you can see, I have my car in my primered out rolled steel. Pretty much what I always do for all my builds, so you know if it's an LSC color, a custom crew color. That way, you know, I tell you it's an LSC color, but it's actually a custom crew color. You need to, you know, join my crew, become part of the family, and or take the hex code that's going to be on screen a little bit, or the RGB that's also going to be down in the description below. Add it to your own crew and put it on yourself. But this time it's going to be a custom crew color, and the custom crew color I came up for is called a Liz Stick Red. I believe this was a name that the guy actually came up for the Saleen that they used in the movie. It was actually like a special color for the car, and it was based on, I want to say, his wife. The color was based on his wife or something like that, like the name. It was very weird. But yeah, I would definitely go with this custom crew color. Again, it's going to be custom Liz Stick Red, and you will see the hex code on screen right now. So you want to go to primary, you want to go down to the crew section, and you just want to put that right over top. Now you're probably thinking, it looks like any other red. You're kind of right, but at the same time, you're kind of wrong. Because in certain lighting, and I will actually show this in a little bit, hopefully, it actually goes from a red out in the sunlight to have more of like a pink hue. Because the Liz Stick Red is kind of how it sounds. It's a red, but it has a lipstick color, and most lipsticks, for the most part, I would think of pink. And as you kind of look around, it has like a pink color to it as well as a red, and then you add the pearlescent on, which we're going to add a little bit, and it just adds a whole new flavor to the car. And the car is, I would say, really unique in the color it is. From there, move on to the secondary color. You just want to go down, and you don't want to go to crew, because what this does is it's actually going to change your roll cage on the interior, as you can see here. I have it in a classic roll steel. So what we want is a black roll cage. So it doesn't change anything else on the car, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's nice. So I would just go with a personal, just black. Make it black, because you want that nice black roll cage. See? There you go. From there, we move on to the pearlescence. Now, in order to add that shine to it, now the car, let me explain the car. The car was like a red with a pink, and it also had a kind of like a pearlescent shine, like a shine to it that it would change to like a yellowish to like a goldish to like an orangish color. And most people, when they build this car, I think they go for something like a race yellow or just like a yellow, and that looks great. I mean, you still get the orange, you still get the yellow. The yellow is a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more overpowering, especially at night. I don't feel it like it needs to be that overpowering. Race yellow is just a little bit more bright, and that's just not good. So yellow is a good viable option, but me personally, I thought like maybe a gold or a bronze would work good. No, my personal best opinion and choice for my build is a bright orange. Now I say this because it adds the more of an orange color to it, but it still keeps that nice yellow shine, as you can see. Let me purchase it real quick. It's almost the same exact thing as the yellow. It's just dumbed down a little bit more. So it's more of a dumbed down, just normal yellow, especially on this type of car, and it still gives that nice yellow, orangish, kind of like goldish like look shine to it, as well as, you know, with that custom lipstick red paint job, which is red, looks pink as well. It just looks really cool, and it is a very unique custom color that I actually came up with, and I think it turned out great. After that, we move on to the trim color. You just want to go with the graphite. Most of the time I will keep it with the graphite. I mean, most of the cars I do actually have a graphite interior, so I don't see a point in changing that. If it is something else, I will most likely change the graphite just because keep everything else the same pretty much. From there, we move on to the accent color. I went with an ice white. It just changes the dials on the actual dash there. It doesn't change the mounted one. So I would just go with an ice white, most visible, and it does look the best personally. And I didn't see any like special colors on it, so I would just, again, go with an ice white. And that is it. That's how you recreate the 2003 Saleen S281-E Mustang from Too Fast, Too Furious. Or what most people just call it is the Saleen Mustang from Too Fast, Too Furious that gets literally obliterated and run over by like the, you know, the Mack truck or the semi truck. It was just kind of thrown in there as like a random thing, I guess. More of a background car, but I mean, it was still a really cool car. And a lot of people actually wanted to rebuild this and requested it. So here it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the build. So let's go back to our parking spot. Alright, so I'm going to go in passive mode real quick so I can go outside. So we're going to go exit the LS Car Meet. Alright, so we're outside, as you can see, in the sunlight. And you will actually see, as I turn around the car, like as I spin around the car, I mean, you can see that the red turns to a pink at certain times. It's very, very subtle, but I mean, it wasn't like too overpowering. It wasn't like certain like over-the-top pink. I just think the color turned out great. I think the design turned out great. I mean, the car looks almost exactly like the real thing. I can't get any closer. This is like one of my more closer builds, I would say. And the color plus the pearlescent just looks phenomenal. I love it. I think it looks great. It's such a unique and special color. And most people just go with LC color. So let's go for a little bit of a drive. Where are we going today? Let's go up on the highway again, I guess. Actually, no, we'll take a back road. But yeah, this car, it sounds really great. It sounds like the Dominator pretty much. I mean, like I said, the color just looks phenomenal. It's red in certain lighting, but like in certain times, you can see the pink shine through. I think for the lipstick red, I think I did a pretty good justice on the color. Am I wrong? Am I right? You guys let me know down in the comment section down below. You guys always let me know what you think about the color and the car. I mean, I think it looks great. I really do. One of my more personal favorite muscle cars I've built because it can't look more spot on for the build. Like, it's got pretty much everything going for it. I just wish we had a little bit more detail on the back end of the car because I feel like I'm a little bit more out of the loop on that because I don't really know what was on the back end. So I kind of just went off of like a stock design. So I think that's going to be where I'm going to be wrapping up the video. So as always, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down in the comment section down below for what build you want me to do next. And if you guys enjoyed the build, let me know down below as well. I will also be putting a link to my Discord channel down in the description below as well. I'm actually in a Discord, so if you guys want to talk to me, if you want to request some cars, just chat up, you know, just say, hey, what's up? Love your videos, you know, can we play some time or something like that, and you're on PS4, let me know. Or I think PS5. I think PS4 and PS5 you can play together, but I'm not sure. So as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the love and support, and that was a terrible place for a red light. So catch you guys later. I'm out. Peace.